Hey mates, it's me Rizz doing reaction on the channel, and just before we get started, what the hell is this? Look, I know it's a copyright claim, but what the hell is America 2? It says it's a visual claim, and the other claim I've got is involving music, and that one I kinda understand. But what is this visual bit for America 2? I checked the footage, it's just me watching the thing, pausing it, a better rewind, but what what the hell? I mean, if it was oversimplified, maybe I get it, but this is some entirely different company that I don't know of. So, just when I was trying to look at through disputes, I'm not quite entirely sure on this whole thing. Usually, I would mute the song or mute whatever is necessary, but it's trimming quite a lot of footage, and should I file the dispute or anything? But see, this is why you don't check up on stuff like this, and since this got very popular, I don't know if what I should do. Oh, like I could just be a dick and just get rid of the entire footage and just re-upload it with a slight change and see what happens, but I'm not quite. Maybe I'm a bit lazy. Like, I'm not really gonna make money on these. Then this is just for attention on the actual history for this channel. I mean, you come here for the reactions I do, and then you stay for the history that I make on this channel. But anyway, let's get to this reaction video, which is the French Revolution by Oversimplified, and no, not possibly, definitely gonna do a few more pauses here, just maybe out of spite, or just thinking of some sort of joke that just won't work. But anyway, let's get to it. And let's go.
So I said to the Marquis de la Fou.
Wait, hold on. What the? Is that? Was that an emu? That's the head of an emu. Like, that can't be right. Hold on. I don't know when this time is set, but I don't think they were serving emus at France. Oh, where is this? Where is this? Versailles. The Okay, yeah. Quick context. My knowledge of the French Revolution is a bit unclear. All I know is that the rich were sitting pretty comfortably, but the poor were getting poorer and poorer until they started to revolt. And this was during France being they pretty much went through their economy was just going down the drain, and the revolution just got hijacked, and there was a lot of heads chopped off by some one crazy guy that I can't remember his name. But anyway, let's continue.
Fayette. What do you think I am? Some dirty
Look
peasant?
at that is the
I've never worked
bird.
a day in my
That is
life.
the emu bird.
Wow, that Marie Antoinette sure is pretty. Sure is. Wouldn't want to
The
be
royal
Prince Louis,
wedding,
though.
Prince
That's going to be a
Louis
lot of responsibility when he
Marie
becomes king,
Antoinette.
especially since France
Alright,
is in
let's get
financial ruin. Quite. Thank you one and all for
Sorry.
attending the royal marriage of my grandson.
Okay, well, we got King Louis the 15th, future King of France.
The
Alright.
future king of France to the Archduchess of Austria. Now for the very
Oh my god, that freaking emu is staring into my soul. Is staring into your soul. I can't stop looking at the emu. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think it just
very awkward yet historically accurate part of the ceremony, where we all watch them get into bed together.
Wait, what? What? Wait, what? Hold on. Back up, back up.
Now for the very awkward yet historically accurate part of the ceremony, where we all watch them get into bed together.
I don't think I should be mad because I think it seems about right, I think, but let's see. Oh, the head.
Alright, now that's out of the way. Let's leave the royal couple to it. You better give us an heir, you fat, ill-bred boy. boy. Nighty-night.
Wait, there were lights back? What year is this? 1760 maybe? I don't know when this is, but look at it. They got the candles, they got the log, the fireplace. But where's this light coming from? The chandelier? Light bulbs? I don't know. Okay.
That's gonna be a lot of responsibility. France is in financial ruin. You fat, ill-bred boy. Quite. That's gonna be a lot of responsibility. France is in financial ruin. You fat, ill-bred boy. That's gonna be a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. Alright. I'm
Oh,
just pausing
great.
for sake of
He's
pausing.
a freaking weirdo. France, the most prosperous, cultured, and beautiful nation in the world, as it had been for centuries. An exquisite social culture, with the king and the upper classes throwing crazy parties every night, enjoying.
Whoa. Okay. I got no comment on this.
High living and
Wait, what's he got in his mouth? Is he smoking,
fine
No.
dining. Who cares that they were only
Okay,
able to do
no
so off the
comment.
backs of the hardworking, starving poor? What are they gonna do? Revolt? They're only 80% of the population.
Not one of them has any bit of color in their clothing. You know, it's occurred to me that, I get it, that's when you have to look, and you have to put these, just, for sake that you can't make all the peasants colorful, because at the time when they were trying to make peasantry, they had to make it look like their lives were a bit of a shit. Now, although some did do shit, they were a bit more colorful. Just look up Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's a, well, it being a video game, it is still got a good one of the best presentations of a medieval or a middle-aged society. But this is like what, the 18th century. There was definitely people wearing more colorful stuff.
No. Life in France is great. What's that, France? You want to go to war with Britain and increase your power? Go for it, little buddy. You do you. And you lost. Now you're in severe financial debt.
Oh, there
We
we
have no money. What do we do? Should we stop partying? Heck no. Party harder. That's okay. The peasantry will pick up the slack. They were created by God to do all the work, and you were created to reap all the benefits and party hard. That's just how society works, and we've all just accepted.
Alright, first estate, the clergy, second estate, nobility. So wait, clergy were at the top? Huh. Well, you know what? It's weird. The power between clergy and nobility kind of differed a lot depending on location, but so it's kind of different now that I think about it. It's like, oh, jeez, history is so complicated with social hierarchy. Anyway, continue.
Accepted it for centuries. Why? Why what? Why do the nobility
Is that guy up in the? How did that guy get up on the barrel? Anyway,
get to be all rich and stuff? Just because they were born into it? And the rest of us schmucks just have to accept that? Hell, why do we even need a king?
Is
Who
he spilling
decided
the beer?
that? It all just seems very unfair and unequal, and I, for one, am starting to question it.
Stop spilling
Wow.
the beer.
That's very enlightened of you. And so began the Age of Enlightenment. Great philosophical thinkers
All right.
across France and beyond began to question whether this beautiful nation was really all that beautiful after all. Hey, Prince Louis, bad news. Your grandpop died of smallpox this morning, which means good news, you're now the king. So just to sum up, France is in severe financial debt, and the angry populace are beginning to question how necessary you are. But hey, I believe in you, champ. You got this.
He's
Maybe.
screwed.
Oh no! Prince Louis Capet became King Louis XVI in May.
I just love that little The oversimplified Jesus cross. That just looks pretty looks pretty good.
1774. He was a notoriously weak man, and he knew it. He barely had the wisdom to rule a nation, never mind one.
Okay, let's see what we've got. We're rich, party time. We're losing money, still party time. We have no money, party to forget. Heads are going to roll. Little JK, keep partying.
Crisis, and he was easily manipulated by those around him. One of his first acts was to try to get revenge on the British by financing their American colony's revolution. Hey, we're an independent nation now. That was real swell of you, Louis. Couldn't have done it without you. Glad I could help. So hey, about all that money we lent you. When can we get that back? Yep, you're a great guy. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Real glad I could help, friend, but about that money. Gotta go now, chum. Best of luck to you.
Is that the actual... Now, I get it's the oversimplified version, but did that actually happen? Or was that America couldn't pay France? Because I'm curious. Put it in the comments down. I'm just wondering, what... Was it actually like this? I'm just generally curious. Or did they ever get a chance to pay back both France and Spain? Because Spain did lend and also France lending America with supplies and guns and all the extra thing that comes to fighting a war. So
oh no! And now France was in even more debt. France's poor, suffering under the strain of economic ruin, watched as the nobility continued to live as though nothing was wrong. In particular, they grew increasingly disdainful of the Queen, Marie Antoinette, as she continued to spend all of France's money on her own luxurious lifestyle and fashion. While the peasants were breaking their backs in the fields, she was walking around like, hey, my hair is about. I'm not making that up.
I just have a dumbfounded face right now, but what the fuck? Oh jeez, I'm face palming. So, okay. Again, I'm just gonna keep pausing and playing just to avoid the copyright. Claim idiots.
Her hair really was about, and her lavish spending.
Or was it the automated bots?
Earned her
Alright, I'll continue.
Madame Deficit. And speaking of the Queen, there was also a long-standing scandal around the fact that the king took a very long time to boink her, and the working classes of Paris began ridiculing the royal couple with lewd pamphlets depicting the Queen as a court thought, and the king as a wuss, unable to fulfill his marital duty. Respect for the monarchy was at an all-time low.
Love and Respect featuring Killer Mike. RESPECTL. Respect. Show some respect.
As France's finances were spiraling out of control, and the king and his aides really only had one solution to the crisis. Tax the poor. Tax the poor. We could do a sexy calendar shoot. Tax the poor. And so it was. The poor, who were already struggling to make ends meet, found themselves being taxed from every direction. Hey, I'm the royal tax collector. Looks like you've yet to pay your income tax, head tax. By the way, how many windows you got in that house of yours? 3? Oof, yep. There's gonna be a tax for that. Hey, your local priest here. Have you paid your church tithe yet? Well, at least this one is going to the good work of God. Sure. God. I think this year, God wants me to buy a new swimming pool. Hey, private tax collector here. Oh, and I brought some goons with me. Just a few quick questions. How much salt did you buy this year? About 7 kilos, I think? Yep. Oh.
Wait, wouldn't they technically be blind if they were wearing shades like this? No? Like, were they? I don't think glasses were well, shades were invented at this time. Though I could be wrong. Oh, right, the tax collector.
Okay, there's gonna be a tax for that. Oh, what's that over there? That's extra salt I held over from last year, so I wouldn't have to buy as much this year. Oh, yeah, there's a tax for that. And what are you doing with all this salt? Well, obviously cooking. On the table. Yep. And preserving fish and meat. Oh no. Yep, and there's a tax for that. Hey, how old is he? He's 9. And so he's purchased his required amount of salt for this year, right? What? No, he's 9. Uh-oh. Sorry, little Timmy. Looks like I'm gonna have to tax you for that. Yep. Salty. There's gonna be a tax for that.
Now, granted, I still, again, oversimplified makes a bit of an exaggeration on how to tell history, but was this kind of actually accurate? Like, I'd say like it's 50% accurate, but did they tax? How much did they tax the poor left and right? I'm curious about that. Gosh, and you know what? I don't. Let's see.
And that's not all. A huge portion of the peasants' harvest had to be given up. And there was also the labor tax, where peasants were required to work a certain number of days for their local lord without pay. Obviously, people weren't too happy with these taxation policies, and the aggressive nature of these private tax farmers sometimes even escalated to violence. In particular, though, the people really hated how inconsistent the taxation rules were across the nation, and also the fact that the first 2 estates often had to pay very little, if any tax at all.
Seriously?
And so, the anger continued to.
You know, I just realized that it's kind of like I just had this thought of thou shalt not tax God. Like some priest just comes and you can't tax the voice of God. So, I don't know why I'm just heavy taxation and little to no taxation.
Grow. France had a population that was just about ready to explode. What could push them over the edge?
Natural disaster?
How about a touch of natural disaster?
Oh, oh my goodness, I did not. Oh my god, I fucking called it. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Seriously, when a natural disaster happens, it hurts pretty hard. Sorry, Australian bushfire, cyclones, and a few minor stuff that happens here. Economics change and prices of food changes at times. Like there was like one time one cyclone that just decimated a lot of farms up north. I don't know which one is it, Northern Territory or Queensland, but price of bananas just skyrocketed. Like maybe not like super expensive, but very expensive. And at the same time, when once they kind of went down, or like at some point when it was all the price went down, my parents they just stockpiled a lot of bananas. Though granted, they were using it for boosts and smoothies because it was summertime. And anyway, let's continue.
A series of harsh summers and winters left the peasants' harvests in ruin, meaning they had no food or money, and the cost of bread skyrocketed. Of course, the upper classes had massive.
Is that a bread throne? And does that picture right there have did they replace the sword with a baguette?
Stocks of grain and wheat, so they were virtually untouched by this new crisis. But now the poor really were starving, and they began to riot. Women took to the streets,
just drunk.
Bakeries were raided, and bakers suspected of keeping bread for themselves were sometimes even hanged.
Excuse me?
Wow, this is really getting out of control. Your Majesty, we need some decisive action. You need to step up and lead us. What will you do? Okay, I've got this. I know. I'll summon the Estates General, and they'll decide what to do. You really are a fat, ill-bred boy. The Estates General was the closest thing France had to a government, apart from the king. It was a purely advisory body, and was rarely summoned. In fact, it hadn't been summoned for 175 years prior to this. But with France in a severe crisis, the king felt the time was right to call on the government to help. The Estates General was made up of representatives from the 3 estates, that is, the clergy, the nobility, and everybody else.
Middle class, urban, poor, peasantry, wealthy business owners, lawyers.
Okay, thanks for coming, everyone. The first order of business is regarding the clergy and nobility. You all get brand new Porsches. You get a Porsche, and you get a Porsche, and you get a Porsche. Everybody gets a Porsche.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I think this is obvious that this didn't happen, but why? Okay.
And now into the second order of business. France is completely out of money. Like, it's never been this bad before. Anyone got any ideas? How about we all get Lamborghinis next time? The king decided that in order to make a decision, they had to come up with a voting system. Okay, the clergy. You have a population of 130,000, so you'll get 1 vote. The nobility. You have a population of 350,000.
Wow.
So you'll also get
That many?
1 vote. And the third estate. You have a population of
Whoa,
27 million people and make up
okay.
98% of the population. Very impressive. You'll get 1 vote. The third estate were obviously pretty unhappy with this system because they kept on finding that this would happen. We propose to raise taxes on the third estate. All in favor? All opposed?
Yeah, that's
2 to
pretty
1.
much how it
Taxes
goes.
will be raised on the third estate. We propose a motion that says the first 2 estates are a bunch of poo-poo heads. All in favor? All opposed? 2 to 1. It's official. We are not poo-poo heads. The third estate realized that any attempt at reform would be outvoted by the 2 upper estates, and they thought that was kind of lame. So they decided that since they were 98% of the population, they could go off to form their own government, make their own laws, and take over the running of the country. And so, the National Assembly was born. The third estate was now in control, and there was nothing the king could do to stop. Haha! I've locked you all out of your building. What are you gonna do about it? We'll probably go find a different building that isn't locked. Ow, no! The National Assembly did find another unlocked building, just down the road, an indoor tennis court. We're on the 20th of June, 1789.
Wait. There was an indoor tennis court in 1789? Huh. Well, learned something new.
They
Anyway,
all took
continue.
the tennis court oath, pledging to continue meeting until the king finally gave in to their demands for more equality and economic reform. This new National Assembly included many of the most educated
Later
members of the
revolutionary
Third
governments.
Estate, including 2 young lawyers by the names of Maximilian Robespierre.
Wait, this is the guy that cuts. This is the guy that focused on cutting people's heads. I might be wrong, but is it? I think this is the guy that just did a lot of people's heads off, and then gets his head chopped off, and also chops that guy's head off as well. The guy on the right. I think that. I might be. Am I wrong about that? Anyway, we'll find out.
And Georges
soon.
Danton. Some members of the first 2 estates even joined their cause. Some of these men formed a radical new political party called the Jacobin Club and quickly became leading figures. While many members of the Third Estate simply wanted more equality, a growing number in this Jacobin faction would begin calling for something even crazier: the removal of the king entirely. And this is where fear began to take hold. With such a volatile situation developing, everyone was afraid of something. The king feared his position was under threat, and he called in the military to take position around Paris. The Third Estate heard rumor of the gathering military force, and they feared the king was planning to round them up and arrest them. Maybe he'd even execute them. It also didn't help that the king had just dismissed France's popular finance minister, who had been trying to make reforms himself. It seemed the king was done negotiating. Fear, left unchecked, often boils over into anger, and anger detonates with violence. The angry people of Paris, after centuries of cruel inequality, harsh oppression, even starvation, fearful of having their new movement for reform demolished so soon, decided that it was now or never to take action. Screw reform. They decided they'd do one better. How about revolution? The people of
Revolution.
Paris, believing the French military was preparing to attack, decided they should arm themselves. The National Assembly announced the creation
jeez.
of a bourgeois militia, the National Guard, and immediately, many troops from the French military defected over to the revolutionary side. In the early hours of July 14th, 1789, a large crowd stormed and raided the Hôtel des Invalides, a military hospital where they were able to secure a large number of rifles.
Okay, just out of curiosity, what were the rifles kind of like back in 1789? Were they like similar to the American Revolution? Like, um, contrary to a lot that people don't know, is that well, rifles changed a lot. Especially when you go from the American Revolution to the American Civil War, rifles changed a lot. And were these rifles, did they carry were they just simple ball rifles, or did they have like the what what would we call like what would be more like a bullet round when they put it in or something? Because from a distance they just look like it's not like flintlock rifles, or I don't know about um what is this, 18th century rifles. I don't know about them.
The bad news was they weren't able to find any gunpowder for their new weapons. The good news was they knew exactly where to get some.
That is oh, that innocent happiness. Okay, is that a giant prison? That looks like a giant prison.
Prison fortress and
Oh,
a symbol of royal
hey,
tyranny
there's a prison
towering
fortress.
over Paris, the Bastille. Mid-morning, the crowd gathered around the Bastille and demanded that the man in charge, Governor Delaunay, surrender the prison and hand over the gunpowder. Obviously, Governor Delaunay was like, no way. So he stalled for time by inviting a few members of the crowd in for negotiations. The crowd, still waiting outside, quickly became impatient, and before long, they stormed the fortress, taking on the French troops inside. Your Majesty, we've received word that the people have surrounded the Bastille. Governor Delaunay will hold them off. No need to worry. Actually, Your Majesty, it appears the crowd is now headed away from the Bastille.
Table?
You see? What did I tell you? Clearly, Governor Delaunay has defeated them and has them on the run. No need to worry. Your Majesty, isn't that Governor Delaunay's head on a pike? Well,
okay, so this must have been the start of the beheadings. How do they behead him? Honestly, any sharp tool would work, but anyway.
clearly, Governor Delaunay has taken on the form of a bodiless pikehead deity, and the people are so enamored with him, they're parading him around the city. No need to
Doesn't that go against... You know what,
worry
let's get
at
continue.
all. When the National Assembly
Continue.
heard about the violence that had taken place, they had two options. Either one, they denounce it and try to carry on the revolution using peaceful means, or two, they say, damn, you stuck his head on a pike? That's pretty hardcore. And we love it. Incidentally, they went with option number two. Some historians believe this reaction paved the way for the utter violence
Oh,
and
look at that! Look at that painting. See, the middle class peasantry, whatever, they did have some colorful their outfits were more colorful than the drawings. You know, look at that: green, red, yellow, blue pants. Like, maybe these aren't entirely accurate, but this is a good depiction of what the lower class were wearing. Was it? I mean, no one wants to always be kept looking like they're shit, you know, because like people back then, they still didn't want shit on their face like we don't want shit on our face. But let's continue.
bloodshed that would become the legacy of the French Revolution. This widespread acceptance of violence during the Revolution is also largely credited to the writings of a certain Jean-Paul Marat, a man of science with a horrible skin condition that kept him confined to a bathtub.
Wait. Wasn't this the guy with that famous painting of him dying? Like, it was the... And then that took inspiration by a lot of filmmakers to show someone die in a bathtub? Was that just a spin in stories or something? Like someone dying in their own bathtub. So I'm pretty
He
sure this
began
is the
writing a
guy.
radical newspaper he affectionately named
We'll
The
also
Friend
find
of the
out later.
People. Citizens of France, be very afraid. Given the chance, the king and the nobility won't hesitate to massacre us all. The solution is simple. Execute them. Kill every last one of them. Cut off 1,000
God.
heads. And if that's not enough, cut off 1,000 more.
Nuts.
Oh, hey, Mr. Squeaky. What are you doing down there? You're so cute. Aw, I love you too, Mr. Squeaky. Mwah. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. Kill them all. It became one of the most popular publications in Paris during the Revolution and succeeded in spreading ever-increasing fear and anger among the people. In August, leaders of the National Assembly, with help from a certain Thomas Jefferson, adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, an incredible document that guaranteed liberty and equal rights to all men. And when I say men, I mean men. Despite its glaring shortcomings in gender equality, the massively influential declaration would go on to inspire the struggle for liberty and equality across the planet for centuries. However, back in France, the vast majority of the people weren't really so concerned with enlightened ideas of equality as much as they were concerned with the fact that they were still starving. Bread was still expensive as hell and hard to come by. The people felt that one reason nothing had been done yet about the crisis was because the king simply couldn't see the problem. He lived in Versailles, a full 20 kilometers southwest of Paris, and as a result, lived in comfort, separated from his dirty, stinking subjects. On October 5th, a crowd of women, 7,000 strong, decided they'd do something unprecedented. They decided they'd remove that separation and confront the king directly. The women marched all the way to the king's palace in Versailles. Along the way, the crowd continued to grow into the tens
like the
of thousands, and when they arrived, they demanded an audience with the king. What are those things outside the palace?
What's with the bird cage? Alright, come on, let's continue.
They're poor people, your majesty. That's poor people? They say they're hungry. Hungry? Then let them eat cake.
What?
Wow. See, this is the exact BS that led to this whole mess in the first place. You're so out of touch. They're writhing around in the filth, breaking their back to barely scrape by, and they come to you demanding just the basic ability to feed themselves, and you think a slice of cake will sort them out? Well, then let them eat Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme.
Wait, okay. Hold on, what the...
Well, then let them eat Taco Bell Crunchwrap.
Hold on, I'm typing that up, just for the sake of pausing. Let's see, Taco Bell Crunch Wrap Supreme. Okay, looking. So it looks like so it's like combining a burrito and a taco together. So just wrapping a taco in what? Wait, hold on. There's better. Taco Bell is like a uniquely Taco Bell cross between a tostata and a burrito supremes. Basically, it consists of a grilled flour tortilla folded into a hexagon filled with seasoned ground beef. Yada 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 yada. Okay.
Supreme. Wow. They're not that desperate. Members of the crowd actually managed to break into the palace with the intention of killing the queen, who narrowly escaped through a secret passage in her bedroom. The enraged mob killed several members of the royal guard and raised their heads on pikes, which, if you haven't noticed yet, is something they were quite fond of doing. The king had no choice but to come out and talk to the crowd. He agreed to accept his new position, sharing power with the revolutionary government, and to return to Paris with the crowd, removing the separation
man, that is
between king.
That's kind of fucked up. Just like if the king was just going along while seeing his royal guard's heads on his pike. It's like seeing your friend. It's a bit fucked up. Anyway.
And subject. King Louis had a problem with people constantly raiding his palace.
Wait, is this an advert?
One thing he didn't have a problem with was people raiding.
Yep, it's an advert. Okay, that's it for the recording. Well, the visual recording. So, you know, I don't have much to say right now. In my mind, I'm still thinking about just the claim, seeing if why I still can't get the thought of the America 2 visual claim. I just I, I feel like I'm just like mad or something, just like genuine. I don't know if I should be mad or just pissed. But anyway, with the French Revolution video, uh, I'm it's well a few liberties taken just for fun stuff, but yeah, but okay, just uh, let's just say that can't wait to see part two because just saw it right in the corner. I see Napoleon's I don't know mellow face. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. It brings a smile to my face. And I have other videos on this channel that are not reactions. They're involving Australian history. Why don't you click those somewhere on my channel? And with that, I also give me comments on what the hell, what the hell is this freaking dispute I've got that I have to do? Well, it's this freaking uh fuck this monetized video on my last reaction video. Just America 2 visual. Really? What the fuck is America 2? American 2. America 2? American 2. What the fuck is American 2? Doesn't seem better than America 1? Ugh. Okay, I'm just pissed.